Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Now, Steve wants to kick off the show.
Yes.
I don't know, Jesse. Do we let him?
No, I say. But I don't think I have a choice in that.
Hey, Jesse, Adam, pipe down. Iceberg's got something to say.
We need a t-shirt. Steve's head on an iceberg. And it says, "Shut up, iceberg's coming."
No, it's just a word bubble coming out of the iceberg. I got something to say. Or, I got something for the show. So I'm walking here from the CBC. I'm walking here from the CBC building down there. And because I shot the hat pics and dang it's videos today. And I'm just walking by and I'm on my phone and not really paying attention to anything, and I hear and I go, "What?" And I look up and it's this girl, and she goes, "You're Steve Dangle." And I go, "Yes, because that's who I am." And her friend keeps going because she's not interested in this, but then she eventually stops and she goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm great." Shook her hand. Shook her friend's hand. Oh my goodness, this is so funny because the last time we were downtown, and from that I surmise that she's not often downtown. The last time we were downtown, we saw JVR, and I tried to have a conversation with her about that, and so then I didn't know where the conversation was supposed to go. So I go, "You want a picture or something?" And she looked at her friend and said, "No, we're good." So
why did you put yourself in that position?
Why would you ask her if she wants a picture?
Because I am apparently an arrogant prick.
Yeah.
And have wanted to die ever since. I've just...
Well, I just don't get why you would ask the question.
I was trying to be nice.
Was that your way of wrapping up the conversation?
No, it was my way of... Okay, listen. I would not walk up to a stranger and be like, "Hey, do you want a picture?" I have not achieved... No. Mm. She went... I think if someone gasps at the mere presence of you...
And then they should automatically want a picture?
With the Sultan of Steve.
They could...
Iceberg himself, Steve Dangle Glynn. I am a buck. I'm an author. Did you buy one yet? You want me to sign that too?
Steve, someone could recognize you and still not want a picture with you.
Well, Jesse, I learned that, so I'm never going to ask that question again, ever, because I hate myself right now.
I think the new fun thing, Adam,
I'm listening.
is for everybody who meets Steve to not take a picture with him. They should say, "Steve, I'm good on the pictures," and then leave.
You know what you could do is just take a picture and then Steve's sort of half framed out. Here's me on my own at the Leafs game.
Hey,
and Steve was sort of in it.
Can you take a picture of me?
Oh, yeah.
The new thing is if you meet Steve, you get him to take a picture of you.
It's like going to a playoff game with Dart Guy all over again.
Hey, can you take a picture of me and Dart Guy?
Instead of offering them a picture of you with them, you could have offered them a veggie Panago pizza.
Oh, Adam!
You could go with the veggie light for a nice kind of light lunch. Organic tomato sauce, Italian, of course, tomatoes, sauteed mushrooms, green peppers. You might hold the peppers. I say bring them on. Plus mozzarella cheese.
Wow, Adam, you're really just getting to the meat of it. There.
No, I'm getting to the veggie.
You see, because veggie whiz, what a great segue.
Or, maybe a veggie Mediterranean, like your people, Steve.
It's like the regular veggie, but louder.
More passionate, shall we say. This fresh passata tomato sauce, so that's different. Yes. Fire roasted tomatoes, Kalamata olives, red peppers, baby spinach leaves, red onions, feta, and mozzarella cheese.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the Ninja Turtles on one pizza.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
So good.
Next time, I think you know what to do.
Just not say anything and never speak in public ever.
And Steve, you're a commercial man.
I am.
You're a commercial man. And you were on a commercial. And we got a text message last night And I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh, Steve was on TV last night because I go to bed at 8 o'clock because I'm your Nana now.
Well, now you know. This morning, I'm the guy from the Volkswagen commercial. So, would you like a picture?
You and Mark Savard. And what was interesting about you and Savvy doing that commercial? Caprice came home the night that was shot, and she was like, "Hey, I shot a commercial with Steve today." I was like, what? Why did nobody? Neither of you told me. They're like, neither of you were like, "Hey, heads up, we're working togetger tomorrow."
Well, and it's funny. She sent me a text the night before, going, "Hey, see you at Scotiabank Arena," and I go, "Scotiabank Pond." Which is nowhere near Scotiabank Arena, and she went right. So I don't know if that was just a slip up or if she was going to go to the all the way wrong place.
I think you saved her.
I might have. Yeah, and she was there on set, and we shot. I think there's going to be 10 different commercials for Wednesday night hockey.
Adam, question.
Where Savvy teaches me how to play hockey.
When Caprice came home, how many pictures did she have of her and Steve?
I only saw the one on Instagram.
Oh, so they did take a picture
They
together.
did take a picture, yeah.
Steve, did you ask her if she wanted a picture with you?
No, she just started taking one because that's what girls do. I should have learned
Well, that girl, anyway.
Yeah.
Not the girls you met today.
No, they don't ask. They have their phone out and they're just like that. And you go,
So, I don't know. I would surmise from that, maybe you shouldn't ask people if they want a picture with you.
you know, I needed that. I'm like, I got a Volkswagen commercial selling books. I needed to be taken down a peg or two. And Casey, that was her name. Asked her name.
Just wait till Sasky hears this.
Casey took me down a peg or
Of
two.
all the people, Sasky's just gonna she
Are you here to take a picture of me?
She hates that story so much, and yet it is the most enduring story on the podcast. And now that you've gone and done it again, I think that she needs to weigh in on it. We may have to have her on and just get her reaction.
That is a top 5 moment that I am in constant regret that it is not on video. For Adam's reaction alone, I know what's coming, so my face is in my shirt the entire time. Just like this, I look like a ninja.
In case anybody doesn't know, if you search the Sasky Stewart episode, the first one that we ever did with her, she tells the story
Was it
about...
the first one?
It was the first one we did with her.
Yeah, it must have been.
And she tells the story about how Steve met her at the CBC. And long story short, you need to get her to tell it in detail because she's a great storyteller. But he says to her as he's cutting highlights at the CBC for Hockey Night in Canada, "What? Are you here to see me?" So good.
When you type in Sasky Stewart on Google, the first thing that autofills is Steve Dangle.
No way.
For
Are you serious?
It's customizable.
Nope, I
no,
think that's for everyone.
And if it doesn't say Steve Dangle, make sure it does.
If it doesn't, Photoshop it in.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. That's so
Yeah,
great.
Sassy Stewart, Steve Dangle, are you here to see me?
So the Leafs had a huge game against the Avalanche.
Sure did.
Did all the things on their list that you would think they needed to do, right? You got Kadri scoring.
Yep.
You got,
Twice.
Did Matthews not get 4 points quietly?
Did he?
Did he?
I know he got a goal and an assist at least.
Yeah.
I don't know about 4.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm
Might have
wrong.
been +4 or something like that.
Maybe.
No, it was a power play. I don't know. He had a good game. Why is he got to be a +4?
Nylander looked like Nylander, and there was a
3
couple
points.
passes. 3 points.
Goal,
There
2
you-
assists.
There you go.
There you go.
4 shots.
Nylander had that incredible pass to Matthews, which
Kadri.
Huh?
Kadri.
Oh, it was Kadri. Sorry, yeah. My God, I'm so sick right now, and it's killing me.
It's okay. 43-34.
Yeah,
so good.
there you go.
Yeah, game was also a while ago.
Yes, it was. Now,
Hashtag
Nylander,
2 days ago.
to me, that was what Nylander is and does.
Yeah, and it took him too long to get here, but here he is. And, you know, there's the deadliest lines in the league are the super lines that are 3 guys strong, and they're just lethal. The Leafs now have 3 dynamic duos, which is a pretty good start. Matthews Kapanen has sort of returned to being that.
I don't know how you split that up now.
I don't think you do, is the answer. And not to exclude Marleau from that, but you got to admit those 2 are the strongest 2. Tavares Marner, obviously. Nylander Kadri. are discovering a little bit of magic together. And adding Janssen to that line, it's too good. Connor Brown, like, I liked Janssen on the fourth line because he was able to eat other fourth lines alive, but Connor Brown sort of belongs on what I think Babcock imagines the fourth line to be, which is it's just the worker B line. You know?
Get out there and hustle.
Yeah. So if you can play well with any of those three dynamic duos, you're laughing. So Janssen fits into his role real nice. Marleau, he has a few on, a few off. And then Hyman does what Hyman does. I think the Leafs are in a good position.
Part of me wonders about Janssen staying on the fourth line. I know people were, frustrated by that, and I get that.
It was never going to last.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't care. It's the one Babcock lineup decision I had faith in.
Yeah.
Where I was like, he'll see the light.
The guy was getting power play time on and off.
Yes.
And beyond that, when he was out there, it seemed like he was out there to drive that line. Like, I almost looked at it like it... Now, I know it affected his ice time, but I look at it as a compliment to him because I felt like that he was kept there to make the fourth line more effective.
And it was. And it kicked other team's ass for the period it was there. Now, I feel like something should be brought up. Colorado's awful.
Wow, are they awful.
Wow, but I didn't know it was that bad.
I sort of feel quiet vindication for that.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, I haven't said much good about the Avs, but I haven't said much bad either. So I can't go out and say, hey, I called this one, because I never publicly did. But let me just tell you, I never fully... Even when Nate McKinnon was on that real hot streak that he was on 30 games ago, or 20 games ago, I never bought it. It was
that whole line.
Same with Buffalo. I just didn't buy it. And they just seemed, just like Buffalo, it was like one guy. It was Jeff Skinner. And Jack Eichel, and with the Avs, it's that one line.
Samuel Girard impressed me. I liked him.
He's a good player. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yes, Jesse?
But the one line was the best line in hockey. I think there's something to be said for that.
Sure.
For sure.
But when one line falls off, I think the rest of the team is that much less good.
Yeah,
like it's not like
not a whole lot else there.
Boston's other three lines last year were still pretty good.
Yeah, we talked about them being a one-line team. Like, no, Jake DeBrusk friggin' murdered the Leafs. And Krejci's good.
70% of David Backes.
Yeah.
Who's always injured, but like Rick Nash.
70% of David Backes playing against 50% of Ron Hainsey. So,
yeah.
He ate him alive. But boy, there's just not a whole lot there. Now, they're fascinating, though, in terms of... So, who are the two teams doing the worst in the NHL right now?
It's Ottawa and New Jersey.
Ottawa and New Jersey in the standings.
Yes, if the season ended today, Colorado would have 2 top 10 picks.
Wow. So, there's the Devils, who are just... I mean, they're just bad. We've sort of known that for a while, despite the fact... Yeah. Despite
to answer your question about, in terms of performance, the answer is Anaheim... I get Ottawa, then Colorado, I would say.
Even Ottawa was just supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
So, to me, it was Anaheim up in that playoff conversation. Cratered. Colorado, cratered. So, Colorado, though, amongst the teams having disastrous seasons, still might make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to, but they're within arm's reach, sort of like the Ducks are. But... they're already sort of in rebuild mode.
Also, we should probably mention Edmonton.
Oh,
yeah. Right. Well, god awful.
And they're just bad. And also a buyer.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Holy shit, what a bunch of lunatics. Anyway,
go ahead.
We'll get to that later. But I really can't believe that hockey team. The Colorado Avalanche, they did so well in the Duchene trade. And they got a bunch of young pieces. They were sort of a up-and-coming team. Like, they had the one super line, and it didn't really matter, though, because we knew the best, or some of the best parts were yet to come. They're going to come up through the system. And then add the first overall pick to that, potentially. Oh, amazing! Well, so now there's this great thing where they could potentially get, Hughes and Kakko. Imagine they win both lotteries.
Great.
Good. Capo Kakko. It's just one of my favorite names to say ever.
What's his name?
Capo Kakko.
That's a funny name.
I saw people say...
It's not like Poop Johnson, who just signed
oh
the Argos.
God. Should we just drop all hockey and talk about how the Argos signed someone named Poop Johnson?
His name was like Corey.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Why did you go by Poop?
I don't know.
How did that come up?
I didn't want it to be ruined for me. I didn't look it up.
His name's like Corey or something. No, Poop.
Poop Johnson.
Like, when he gets pulled over, like, do the cops go, your real license, please? Like, how does he like pay for things?
I don't know.
Like, this is a gag credit card, sir. Your name is not
Well, his
Poop.
name is Corey.
It is Corey.
His government.
No,
Yeah. but
no. I choose to believe that on all his identification
parents were like,
and credit
Poop,
cards.
that's the name. Poop. Not only are we going to name him after a number 2, but his last name is it sounds like number 1.
Does he wear number 2? He has to.
Do you want me to
A Poop and a Johnson.
Do you want me to read why he's called Poop Johnson?
Yeah, we'll get
Okay.
to the Avs in a sec. Shut up.
Poop Johnson found his nickname, or more accurately, Poop found him, in 2014 when he was still playing college football for the Kentucky Wildcats. The defensive tackle was asked about his fluctuating weight, so he was honest about his bowel movements. I try to poop, like 5 times a day, 3 times a day, so it's hard to keep weight when you got so much going out. Poop's most notable highlight with the Wildcats might have been 2015 when he acquired a fumble, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so he poops up to 5 times a day.
It's a lot of poop.
They call him Poop Johnson.
Is he related to Booger?
Booger McFarlane.
Booger McFarlane?
Who should really be Urine McFarlane because he pees in his own pants.
Oh, that's right.
Rather than being a big old wimp
Poop
and
and
going to the
pee.
bathroom when you have to pee. No, I stand there like a man and I pee in my pants.
Yeah, like
Like
a
a
man.
man.
Peed in my pants to own the libs.
Last November, Poop Johnson told the Regina Leader Post that the moniker helps him stay focused. It motivates me, Johnson said. If I play bad, then people are going to call me Poop for real.
Athletes are a strange group, man. So weird. They're just weird. What a weird. What a weird group of people.
Just reminds me of goaltender Darren Poopa.
Anyways, for anyone in the Toronto area, he will now be a member of the Toronto Argos this upcoming CFL season.
Yeah, a game you won't go to. But you'll hear about
there's
because,
probably that.
sports stations sort of have to talk about them, I guess.
One of them owns kind of the league.
Did
so.
you hear about the Did you hear about Blippi, Steve?
Blippi.
We're not doing anything
you know who
hockey
Blippi
today,
is?
are we?
Yeah, who is Blippi? I know that
Blippi
name.
is a viral YouTuber.
Yeah.
Well, he's not viral, I guess. He's got a huge channel for kids.
Is that the... No, is
He,
it a gaming
does
channel?
educational
Or?
videos and stuff. It's not a gaming channel. It's just like
Hey, kids, you want to know about science?
they kind of describe him as like a Mr. Rogers for the YouTube age.
Oh,
This is him.
okay. Oh, there he is.
So here's what happened.
He looks like Professor Tinkerputt from Barney. Anyway, yes.
So back in the day, his name was Steezy Grossman, and he used to do gross out comedy, and now he's had to apologize
Oh, no!
for pooping on his friend in a Harlem Shake video.
So you know the
Back
Harlem
in the
Shake.
day! That was like 5 years ago!
2013.
Do the Harlem...
So, would you like to see an artist rendering of the video?
Explosive diarrhea.
Because
No, you do.
whole video has been scrubbed from the internet, apparently.
Well, I mean,
but BuzzFeed still
it's
has
poo.
one.
BuzzFeed somehow obtained this. This is BuzzFeed's investigative reporting at its finest.
So, they,
Yeah, guys, for everyone who's mad that the hockey talk went away, we were talking about the Avs. Now we're talking about this. We're still talking about poo. Oh, roasted! Go ahead, Jesse. Ow! Roasted!
So BuzzFeed. Hey, stop it!
Yeah,
So
stop looking.
BuzzFeed's attorney Stephen John sent BuzzFeed a cease and desist letter asserting his copyright of the video. BuzzFeed created an artist rendering of a scene from the video, so everybody could know what went on in the Harlem Shake video where he pooped on his friend.
What's hilarious about it too is that like this is
Wait.
BuzzFeed felt the need to dig this up and write an expose on it as though it was some like this poor guy, right? He was doing gross out comedy. He's like, you know what? I'm going to switch to kids videos. He's done a great job. He's made like $20 million.
Yeah.
He's got 4 or 5 million subscribers, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, but remember, you got the poo video, so Don't forget about that. Now he's had to come out and apologize. Like, man, just let the man alone.
It
doesn't do anything.
It's such a bad look for them.
So we got a complaint last episode because someone was like, I was eating while listening to your podcast and hearing you retch at the pepper grossed me out. Well, how's this? Try this one on for size.
Maybe
This episode's called Poop
Maybe click pause,
McBlippy.
man. Click pause.
What?
Is pause that hard?
No, yeah, it is.
Like how long does it take to eat?
You can't possibly put that in the YouTube version.
Oh no, BuzzFeed owns this artist rendering. I would never copyright their copywritten infringement thing.
But you imagine they're like, hey, listen. Okay, what do we got this week, guys? Anything on Trump? No. Anything on Russia? No. Anything on Venezuela? No. We do have Blippi. Who? You know, the guy who's really big with kids? No, never heard of him. Here, let me show you a video. Yeah, this guy took a shit on his friend in a Harlem Shake video in 2013. Great, go with it.
We got a Harlem Shake video. What? That trend's half a decade old. It better blow me away with some sort of new take on it. Sir, I'm glad you said that. Where were we?
And he's had to why make the guy apologize? Come on.
I don't understand why they had to make this news.
I don't either.
And ruin the only reason we talk about this guy is because he pooped on his friend. I was he could just go about his life and sit with his 14 million views on a video.
That's an interesting article for 3 days tops.
Yeah.
But, also, you're ruining the guy's life for no reason.
Yeah. Also, it's not going to stop people from watching his videos, so he pooed on a friend on a video. Who cares? I mean, it's a little weird.
Well, we should kind of...
But literally, it's just a hit piece, right? It's just damaging him. It doesn't do anything. It's not saving kids from anything.
They let George Carlin narrate Thomas the Tank Engine knowing he was George Carlin.
True.
That's
how I knew who George Carlin was.
He wasn't keeping it a secret. Sir Topham Hatt had never seen such a mess. That was George. Oh my God!
And what George Carlin didn't want to do anymore, it was Ringo Starr.
That's right. How did they get? Man, they took George Carlin bits from his audiobooks and mixed with Thomas the Tank. Oh my God! It's
after
so
Ringo
funny.
Starr, it was Donald Trump for a while.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, fun
Jesse,
fact.
Yeah, I'm sure he read the cue cards. Yeah.
That's the thing is that they've done they've done really good exposés. BuzzFeed News, they really have. This I don't get.
No.
Where are you going with this?
Anyways, I was trying to look at other articles she written, and nothing is really damaging. I thought I was going to find a whole bunch of fun stuff, but...
Well, I think it also goes with the trend of, people just love watching YouTubers fail.
Well...
There is a section of the media that hates any and all YouTubers.
They're generally an annoying bunch.
Now, don't get me wrong. They're generally an annoying bunch.
The leader of you guys once went to Japan and laughed at a dead body.
There was that.
I love that you call him you
Is
guys.
he the leader now?
As though you're not a part of a channel with 25,000 subscribers, pal.
Jesse, let me stop you. What do you mean, you people?
You people.
You're a YouTuber now, too, man.
I am not. I am a contributor to a channel through a different medium.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how that works.
Podcaster first, YouTuber somewhere down there.
Look into the camera for a sec. Your face is in a YouTube video.
Good one.
Noted YouTuber, Jesse. Okay, so let's talk about the Avalanche.
So, anyway,
So, Poop Johnson.
So, I know it looks like they're poop now, but they also have a real shot to be incredibly special. Nathan MacKinnon has the best contract in the league. Rantanen's going to be a little bit of pain with that RFA, but whatever. Landeskog's on a decent deal.
Who has a perfect team, though?
No, exactly. Well, no,
and who has a perfect salary structure?
It's not a bad thing that Rantanen is going to expect a lot of money because players who make a lot of money, generally speaking, are good. That's how that works, right? Mm-hmm. And the savings you have from McKinnon and Landeskog, I think, completely negates Rantanen's contract.
Oh, yeah.
You got some really good young pieces. You're going to have more good young pieces. So I just don't think there's that much to worry about in Colorado. However, it's the way it's happening. So 2 years ago, when they got less than 50 points, it was 47 or 48. I always get that wrong. It seemed like not only was the team awful, but it just seemed like it was poisoned.
They were defeated.
They were defeated like long before they even needed to be. Before Varlamov went down, they were still like 500 or something like that. But it just seemed like everything was poison. And a lot of it seemed to stem from, we assumed it was Matt Duchene. Then he gets traded. Lo and behold, they make the playoffs, and the Sens crater. And we go, well, that must have been it. And we're several weeks removed from seeing Nathan MacKinnon screaming at Jared Bednar, which, I don't know, that happens from time to time.
You don't often see that.
But they've won, 5 of the last 23 now? Something like that?
Is that really it?
Yeah.
It's really bad. One of them against the Leafs, because of course. What's going on in Colorado? Because I thought they were past this. Like, it'd be one thing if they had the record they have and there wasn't much fluctuation throughout the season. It was the fact that they were consistently in a playoff spot and then didn't just drop out of it, but plummeted.
Well, I mean, other than the fact that New Jersey's been bad all year, are they the New Jersey of the West?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if there is a New Jersey.
Did they regress to the mean, and that's what it is?
It could just be that. But this is a lot of losing in a very short amount of time.
And at a time when the West is arguably the lesser conference.
Oh, I don't even think it's a question. I don't even think it's a question at this point. It's weird. No one... You know how we've been saying no one wants the final playoff spot in the West? No one wants to cement themselves as a cup contender.
Are we sure about the West being worse than the East?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
the West... I think the Atlantic is stronger than the West.
No. You have four really good teams in Montreal, Toronto, Boston, and Tampa. Mm-hmm. But if you go to the West, I would still count Vegas as a really good team. Calgary as a really good team.
They are. Yeah. Nashville.
San Jose.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg and Nashville, like you said. There's 5 right there.
Now, out of all that, though, and I know every team has flaws, but Vegas, I think, has lost 7 of 10. Calgary's been really struggling. San Jose are monsters.
But Dallas, they struggled to start.
When did Dallas become the third-place team in the Central? That's crazy. Nashville's been slumping a little bit.
That's horseshit, is what you mean.
Plucking horse spit is what it is. Shout out Rob Pizzo. But Winnipeg is a very interesting one because, I mean, Hellebuck isn't what he was last year. They're still obviously first in that division. I have difficulty cementing the Jets as a cup contender like I did last year without the production of Patrik Laine. I think it's immensely under-talked about. Can you imagine if Matthews had the month that Laine has just had?
Oh, Toronto.
Can you look up his game log?
Ehlers has also been out since the 2nd of January.
So what? I know that's... Oh, like, in the bigger picture for the Jets, yes, Ehlers being out is bad. But that shouldn't affect Laine the way that it has.
Sure.
It's been unbelievable. I feel like he scored most of his goals in like a 2-week span and then shut it off. Like, all the way off.
Patrik Laine has, since December 16th, Patrik Laine has 2 goals.
2 goals and how many assists?
Since that date?
Because that guy's competing for the Cy Young.
5.
2 goals, 5 assists. That might be the longest stretch of his career where he's had more assists than goals. What's going on there? Like, no one seems to want this, we're the team to chase status. Even Tampa's fallen off a little bit. Pittsburgh might not even make the bloody playoffs. Washington doesn't scare me a whole lot. Watching them play.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just a little more even.
It's a lot more even.
I mean, there's about 6-7 teams you could say, man, they got a legitimate shot.
Like, I look at the Leafs and, you know, we kept saying contender at the beginning of the year. And having watched them play recently, I'm like, well, they still got a big old bunch of flaws. If you really step outside of the team you cheer for, because every fan base thinks their team sucks a little bit, you know, it's wide open. this year is wide open, and I think the trade deadline is going to dictate a lot.
For Patrik Laine, it's hard to criticize a guy who's going to end up with more than 30 goals.
Yes, but Jesse, go look at when those goals were scored.
Sure. So he scores, it'd be, I don't know, like 10 in the second half, but he still put up 20 in the first.
And how does that help the Jets in the playoffs?
Who knows how he does in the playoffs?
I'm just saying.
Maybe he scores in bunches in the playoffs.
Like, I just remember, this is a terrible example, but I'm going to make it anyway. In the American Hockey League, Joel Colburn with the Leafs was like, I think he led the AHL in scoring, or was top 5 consistently. Then he hurt his wrist, and he didn't score a goal from January through the Calder Cup final. Or no, sorry, from February. So February, March, April, May, June. He went like 5 months without scoring a goal. But if you were to look at his entire season, you'd be like, oh, he had a pretty good year. You know what I mean? There's something, and like, you talk about the worst contract year ever for a guy who should be.
It's a godsend for Winnipeg.
He should just be laughing. He should be asking for. I wouldn't give this player double digits a year.
Yeah, his shooting percentage is also down to 13.4%. That's down from 18 his second year and 17 the first year. So bad luck in there.
Could it be that? Maybe.
Getting cadried.
You know what? Could be that. But you talk about the worst possible year to have that happen.
Oh.
Yeah. And ask Jets fans if they're super stoked about that. Well, you know what? Laine sucks, but at least it's going to keep his number down. Ask them if they're in love with that.
They don't like that.
Because some Leaf fans have been like, man, Marner's got to slow down. And then the second he does, they're like, whoa, what's wrong with Marner?
Yeah, he's had a bad last 4 or 5 games, and people are like, whoa,
what's wrong with Mitch? Whoa! Are you telling me that having your best players not produce is a bad thing? Well, color me surprised.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so, sorry. Getting back to the Avs, just as a final note, I guess. On paper, I have faith that everything's going to work out, but something seems a little bit rotten in Colorado. I wonder if Bednar's long for that team.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Maple Leafs have told potential trade partners that they will not move Timothy Liljegren or Rasmus Sandin or a first-round pick for a rental.
Yeah, I don't...
That's according to 31 Thoughts, Elliot Friedman.
Yeah, it's a good thought, but I think it's just reaffirming what we sort of already knew and hoped for.
Then let's talk about this, because it started some arguments last night. I'm going to lower the tone of my voice because I'm losing my voice. So
are you losing?
I'm starting to get sick. Well, I'm not starting. I've been really sick the last couple days.
What'd you do earlier today?
We did the morning show, and then I can't really talk about it.
You can't really talk about it?
I can't really.
You can't even say what you did?
Nope. No, can't really.
Like where you were?
We can't promo it.
No.
We can't say the blah 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 on blah blah blah.
No, you gotta wait.
No,
we can't.
I want to tell people the blah 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 on blah blah blah.
We're not allowed to blah blah blah.
Why not?
We have a strict embargo on that. We are not allowed
to pre-promo.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
That the thing is happening.
Nope, can't do it.
Wow. What about on day of?
Day of, sure.
What about day before? What about Sunday?
Sure.
What about Saturday? How about 2 days before?
I wouldn't say so.
I heard he tweeted it.
No, you didn't.
I heard he tweeted it just now.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I have Twitter open. No, you didn't.
Why can't? So why not 4 days before?
I don't know, man. Just it's not my thing.
I don't know, Adam. I think I'm going to keep poking.
It's not my thing, man. I don't know. What I do want to ask though is, do the Toronto Maple Leafs need grit?
Jesse, stop being such a menace.
Yeah, Jesse, you are a menace. I can't even argue with it. I can't. My voice is dying. I might have to cut early here.
Yeah.
So what?
I like word games. What rhymes with? Sorry.
People are talking Radko Gudas. People are talking Wayne Simmons. And when we talked about Radko Gudas, it was like, yeah, it's great that he's tough, but he's actually a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Wayne Simmons, who is maybe not the Wayne Simmons of 2 years ago, but still a pretty damn good player.
Yeah.
Rental. There is a word that the Leafs ask about Kyle Clifford. Which is a
saw
weird
that.
one.
So where did that come from?
31 Thoughts.
It did?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Now listen, I'm certainly not going to call Frege a liar. I'm sure he does his research and gets told things, and that's wonderful, and that's his job. I don't believe for 1 second the Leafs are remotely interested in Kyle Clifford or Luke Glendening.
Oh, that came up too, yeah.
Can I read it to you?
Glendening could make some sense if money goes out, long-term money goes out.
As in Zaitsev?
I didn't say that, Adam. I think you just did. But otherwise, why on earth would you acquire that player? Why would Kyle Dobus acquire that player? No. Just make Babcock GM. What are you talking about? Clone Ron Hainsey. Where does it stop? Yes, Jesse.
Can't be sure, but there are rumblings Toronto GM Kyle Dobus asked about Kyle Clifford when he was talking to Los Angeles about Muzzin. Dobus knows Clifford from his days working at Uptown, which still represents the winger. Clifford has a great reputation and a contract Toronto could fit. Those, of course, are 2 reasons LA is happy to keep him.
So what is Clifford? Clifford signed a really weird deal a few years ago that could have worked out. And I guess it hasn't been a disaster. That was the whole thing about the deal, is there's no scenario really where it's a disaster.
No, it couldn't be.
Any player who's making less than $2 million, I mean, you can't really call it a disaster. He was making, I want to say it was 1.5 for 5 years.
He's making 1.6
1.6
this year and next year.
So he's still in it. So, I mean, if that's what sinks your team, then maybe your team sucks. I don't understand the point of acquiring that player.
Piece the Leafs don't need for an asset that we probably shouldn't be giving up.
You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I was trying to justify it in my head, and I can't.
Adam, can you justify this?
No, I don't get it. Okay. I feel like there are just players that are thrown out there by people who need to say somebody. I can't imagine. And there's like vicious little arguments going on Twitter, and I see them every day. And it's like people being mean to each other who are not mean people. And about like the Leafs needing grit or not needing grit. Like I don't know what this team needs to show you and what this management group needs to show you to understand where this is going. It's very clear what they value. They value skill.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with grit.
There's
nothing wrong with it.
But it's not grit for grit's sake.
What a great way of putting it.
Do you think... I hate to go here, but Brian Burke, every time he comes on TV and talks about the Leafs, perpetuates this narrative that they're not tough enough and they won't be able to get far in the playoffs because they're not tough enough. And do you think fans watch that and they listen to it and it sinks in?
And they maybe spit out exactly what they hear? Yes. But if you look at what the actual history of this franchise is based on what the moves Dobus has made, like I can understand if you look at it in the last 4 years and go, well, they acquired Matt Martin and they had Leo Komarov. And yeah, I get that. But that is a different... You had Mark Hunter and you had Lou Lamoriello in there as well. Excuse me. And I think under Kyle Dobus, we've seen what they're after and what they're about. Now, Jake Muzzin has grit. But you know what else Jake Muzzin has? Pedigree. A shot.
Pedigree.
Ability to do a bunch of things that they didn't have.
A beard.
Great beard.
Got a great beard.
I look at it and I'm wondering why people are not quite understanding where this Leafs management team is going. It would be so strange for them to pick up a guy like Luke Glendening, who, I mean, it depends on what stats you're looking at, but this is barely an above a replacement level player. And I don't care that he signed a $1.8 million. Why would you have him?
Adam, you're a savvy business guy. Now, what if you planted the seed for a very long time that the Leafs need grit, and then later, after your little propaganda campaign worked out, you suggested Kyle Clifford and Luke Glendening. Just right into the mic there,
Please
Adam.
blow away from the mic.
Yeah.
No, I shut the mic off.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was like...
Don't worry, I shut the mic off when I blow my nose.
Okay. I just can't imagine Kyle Dobus making that decision. I just can't.
No.
And
I would almost trade Ron. If I were Kyle Dobus, I would trade Ron Hainsey just to take him away from Mike Babcock.
Yeah, so some people were saying, I saw on Twitter, he needs to friggin' Billy Bean Moneyball, and, a lot of stats people hate the Moneyball comparison. No, this one actually works. Which player did he trade just to piss off the coach?
It was the Rookie of the Year guy.
I know.
He would play. Not Hillenbrand. What the hell was his name? But he would play Chris Pratt's character. Hatteberg. Yeah. And that guy that he traded was like the Rookie of the Year. He was a great player, but he didn't fit the team.
Scott Hatteberg.
Now,
it's incredibly hard.
What's interesting too, James Myrtle broke down after the Avs games. Mike Babcock went back to his original defense pairings, except the difference was he put Gardner and Dermott together, Muzzin and Zaitsev, and Riley and Hainsey.
And this is the problem. I look at Gardner Dermott and I go, well, damn, Mike.
Yeah.
I look at Muzzin Zaitsev, I go, oh, well, that could work. I look at Riley Hainsey, I go, no!
So do you want to know the possession numbers for them?
I would love to.
The possessions for Dermott Gardner.
Now, this is less than a game's worth of sample size, though.
Dermott Gardner, 71%.
Good line, or good pair.
Muzzin Zaitsev, somewhere in the mid-60s.
Also very good.
Riley Hainsey,
who I'm sure got the tough assignment, probably played against the top line in a game that the top line was losing.
35%.
Jeez, Manon.
Like, you can't tell me even in that sample size that there's not an issue there.
So here's the interesting thing. People have talked about the Leafs acquiring a new player or a new defender. I don't care who it is. Doesn't matter. We assume they're right-handed. So Gudas? Okay, sure, fine. Jensen? Fine. Pysyk? Fine. Doesn't matter. Which defender do you take out? 1, 2, 3, go, Mike. Dermott. No! No! For the love of God, no! I look at that like you take any one of the names I just said, put them next to Riley, and then follow it up with Muzzin Zaitsev, Gardner Dermott. Hooray. That's amazing. Hainsey's the guy who comes out. He's got to be. Yeah, the only solution might be to save this coach from himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've seen some people going, well, friggin', I mean, they're easing Muzzin in, which, okay, fine, maybe. But we've seen too many times Mike go back to his comfort food. And the D's starting to get a little fat.
Well, and I also look at it too and I go, like, how much time has Muzzin really had? And if you don't want to have Riley on the left side because he's having a great season on the left side, put Muzzin on the right side.
Now, Devil's Advocate, there's that. Devil's Advocate, Muzzin Riley, they were off for like a couple games, so maybe it was just to give him a quick jolt. And who knows, he'll revert right back to it. Or another thing I've given Babcock a little bit of praise for recently is whatever defense pairs he has in practice is not necessarily what he keeps throughout a game. So we could be freaking out about this, and he could just as easily go back to Riley Muzzin at the drop of a hat tonight, by the way. It still concerns me so much. That player, who I don't think any of us think is terrible, plays too damn much. The coach loves him too much. Is not going to help this team win.
Not when he's playing, I think, second most minutes.
In his current role. It's not going to help this team win in his current role.
Yeah, he could help them win if he's in a third. He was looking really good with
Stanley
Travis
Cup
Dermott.
winning goal. Ron Hainsey. Slapper. He can be the Leafs UA Krupp.
Yep. He can.
It's amazing that we know that name. You know why we know that game? Stanley Cup winning goal in overtime. That's why.
Yeah.
Clapper from the point. A left-handed shot, I think. I don't remember. But he was on the right point.
So do the Leafs need grit?
I mean...
Is that what this team is?
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
But what does that grit look like?
I mean, Zach Hyman, I think, is what this team is, and he's a pretty gritty player.
Connor Brown, gritty player. Gritty enough.
Connor Brown I always call, like, new gritty. Connor Brown and Austin Matthews are two very different versions of the same thing, where I watch them all the time and go, I scream at the TV, I go, finish your damn check, Matthews especially. And then what he does is, instead of engaging in body contact, he uses his stick and he comes out with the puck.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong, or I'm wrong about what I yell at Matthews more than any other player. You know what I mean?
It's almost like he knows better.
It's almost like he knows better. You're absolutely right.
Almost, though.
Almost.
Yeah.
Not all the way.
Listen, I'm just a dumb fan, but I am the dumbest fan for Austin Matthews. So, I guess in terms of grit, what do you want? Now, I've had this thought recently with Gauthier, because he had a really good little stretch, and it's wearing thin on me now. Because I haven't really liked his game the past few weeks. I've never seen a guy that big fall down that much and like get out-muscled and bodied that much. Is Gauthier so good that having... Like, listen, if you have a great player that you can put in that slot, some people would argue that's Tyler Ennis, then sure, why not use them? In absence of that great player, would a Kyle Clifford type be so bad?
No.
A guy that can... I mean, he can at least skate. He can hit and
how
fight.
many more years does Kyle Clifford have? Because my thing
2.
is
Or is this year and next?
Yeah.
the entire thing with Babcock is every fourth line center they have brought in for him has not been the guy he wanted.
Yeah.
So,
and
so am I gonna
Clifford's
go-
not even a center.
Clifford's a left winger.
It'd be
left-
Lindholm in the middle.
So Lindholm, you got from Sweden. Oh, he's going to be our guy. He's not your guy. Gauthier's clearly not really. He's a replacement level NHL player. Fine, but not one guy in 4 years has stuck on the fourth line. That may. At what point do we say, all right, Mike?
That's enough.
What's the role? Why would
enough.
I go out and inquire Justin Abdelkader? Or Luke Glendening. By the way,
Glendening.
Justin Abdelkader on the worst contract in the NHL. I don't know. I saw another.
It's not great.
I saw some sort of rumor that was linking him to the Leafs too, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so about that one.
No.
But although Detroit fans were like, yes.
Yes.
Listen, Mike, what do you want? Who's the guy?
I'd love to know.
At what point do you not like? Are you telling me in 4 years you couldn't nail down one guy?
Why are they looking for a forward at all? Why is that?
And I don't think
I don't know
the
if
team
they
is
are.
looking to
You
improve.
know what? They
don't
brought
know
up
if
Michael Furlan, and I'm like, where does he fit?
Yeah.
I don't get it. If the Leafs were at a Carolina game, and I think last night they were at scouting a Ducks game. What do you think they're scouting the Ducks for? Silverberg? No.
Well, and
It's their
also-
right-handed shot defense.
Getzlaff.
Yeah, right? Well, apparently Vegas wants Getzlaff.
Yeah.
Also, the Ducks are trash.
Well, the
so
Ducks are
they're
trash.
a seller. The Leafs are a buyer.
Yeah.
That's why they're scouting them.
I'll take... I mean, the two strongest defense cores that are not in the playoffs are the Ducks and Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, when healthy.
When healthy, for sure. So if you look at the...
I think Carolina might be in a playoff spot now. You check?
I will.
Okay. In the meantime,
Anyway,
though,
sorry.
you know that...
They're sort of in and out.
You know that, like, people are like, well, I mean, the Leafs could be in on Michael Furlan. When you hear that, like, honestly, where... Like, people are talking about Wayne Simmons as a right winger on the Leafs. Where does he fit in? Where's Michael Furlan fit in?
Even the Wayne Simmons talk doesn't make sense to me because go out and use those assets for a defenseman where you're weak.
Yeah,
Improve that area.
He's a Toronto guy with a great reputation. And I think that's where all of it comes from. I don't think any of it comes from the actual Leafs. Jake Munson, was there any lead up to that trade?
No.
Any?
None. Zero.
Did you hear anything?
No.
Did
Nothing.
you hear anything?
Nothing. Would never have known. Just that he would be a good fit.
I don't think it's a name you've heard. Well, okay, it's impossible for it to be a name you haven't heard
'Cause we've heard
because
every name.
name has been thrown out there for crying out loud. I think it might surprise you. I'm fascinated to see the moves they make because I was talking to Bunkus and Bennis about this on Good Show. What is more important to the Leafs? Acquiring a better defender or tending to the cap situation for the future? I'd argue the cap situation.
Yeah, I would too.
You sort of need one before you can get the other. So any Leaf move that they make, I think the royal flush would be somehow clear out cap and improve on defense. I'm not sure that exists.
Zaitsev and a pick for a defenseman.
That would be sick. Hainsey in a pick. And Zaitsev for two
Zaitsev.
right-handed defensemen. For Bufflin and Trouba.
For Carlson.
For Carlson, both of them. Malker, too. Put him back there. It doesn't matter.
And William.
Yeah,
And William.
And William.
All the Carlsons.
We'll get them all. And San Jose will get the picks for Williams
And
somehow.
we'll call him the Carl Cy, because there's the three of them. So you can't call him
Carl 3-pecked.
That's better.
Yes.
No, you just spell Carlson with 2 3s instead of 2 S's.
Yeah. Why not? Stupid, that's why.
They already have EK squared. Evander Kane and Erik Karlsson.
Oh.
EK squared.
No, we don't want him. No one who's blocked me on Twitter can be on this hockey team anymore.
Yeah, but did you deserve it?
Kessel gone. Bozak gone. You learned your lesson, NHL? That's how it works. No, I earned it. I earned it. Yeah,
Most people earn their blockings on Twitter. Don't ask why was I blocked. People don't block for no reason.
Imagine if I became one of those guys who who say in their bio who they're blocked by. Like you're hanging a deer head on the wall. Like look what I did. You see this? I got one.
I'm happy you're not that guy.
I would really like to see the Leafs pick up one of Brandon Montour or Josh Manson.
How you gonna do that?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Connor Brown, Bracco in a second.
Listen, Bobby.
No, I think you got to trade like Zaitsev or something. But anyway, I keep hearing this grid argument come up, and I'm like, this is not what the Leafs are. It's not what they are.
But at the same time, you know, you look at like a Leafs versus Boston series, or a Leafs versus even Montreal a little bit series, or you know who I am not interested in playing in the playoffs at all? The Islanders. I know there's a lot of regression there, or well, should be that it will not come. It has not happened.
Not this season.
It's driving me nuts. But being locked in a cage with them for 4 to 7 games, the playoffs they're a little bit different. I'd love to know what like numbers say in terms of. I don't know how you would properly illustrate this, but what is the difference between 4 to 7 games in the regular season and 4 to 7 games in the playoffs? I got to imagine the ones in the playoffs hurt more. You know, one thing that I've been silently optimistic about with regards to the Leafs, so their power play has struggled, kicked ass against Colorado. I like that they're letting Tavares touch it more, but their power play has struggled, and also they have the fewest calls for in the league. The power play becomes less of a factor in the playoffs because there's fewer calls. So in a way, the Leafs have that advantage. Well, we've never really relied on it anyway.
They're one of the best 5-on-5 teams in the league.
Kasperi Kapanen, with his breakaway goal to start the game against Colorado, tied for the league lead for goal. He tied for the league lead in goal scoring among players who had yet to score a power play goal. It was his 17th goal of the season, none on the power play, and the power play goal was his first of the season on the power play, 18. I know it's a bit of a useless stat.
I don't think that stat matters.
It matters a lot.
Hot take?
You do not say that a stat from ice surfing doesn't matter, Jesse.
Hot take. I don't think that's relevant to anything.
Wow, cool. Piece of garbage.
Here's another thing from 31 Thoughts that I think you guys would find interesting.
Are you going to make it?
I don't think so. But I'm going to try to get through this part anyway. And then I'm going to probably leave you with Jim Matheson's tweet, and I'll let you guys finish the show.
Yes!
So Matthews. Now, this is interesting because the first 3 words matter the most in this sentence.
Okay.
2 paragraphs here, but the first 3 words matter the most. A couple executives.
Interesting.
A couple executives said that one of the conspiracy theories was someone would offer sheet Austin Matthews.
Okay, back up. You got to start the sentence again. A couple executives
said
that
one of the conspiracy theories.
One of the conspiracy theories. It's already trash.
This is something from 31 Thoughts, but I'm throwing it out there.
Of course. And this is Elliot's job, by the way.
Yeah.
If 2 executives tell you this, you should say it, but go ahead.
And that's what he said. Would offer Sheet Matthews at 4 years at a huge number, knowing Toronto would match. The problem with that is that it would walk the team directly into unrestricted free agency, the thing the Leafs want least. Was it true? Who knows? But it was out there, and the team had to be cognizant of it. As for the upcoming roster choices Toronto must make, the safest comment is that everyone's play during the rest of the season in the playoffs will answer those questions. William Nylander is catching up to everyone else's 3-month head start. Matthews mentioned in his media conference that a 3-year deal was on the table. The team that term was tossed aside because it was too much of a risk for the player. For that reason, the AAV on the term would have been higher than you'd think. If his contract does have the expected effect on second contracts for other players, a few execs believe it could squeeze on salary, could put a squeeze on salary arbitration and qualifying offers. Teams do have the ability to walk away from arbitration if A, it was the player's choice to go through the process, and B, the award is higher than a certain threshold set at $4.2 million. Just wanted to clear up something from last week's blog, and this is also important too, although a little separate. I referred to Sidney Crosby's percentage of the cap at 15.3%. For his 5-year, $8.7 million average second contract. Several people pointed out it was actually 17.3. What I should have clarified was that, with the benefit of history, I applied it to the first season the deal took effect, as opposed to the year he actually signed it. So people were like, well, he signed it this year, but it didn't take effect until the next year.
So it's
right?
roughly, what is Matthews again? It's 17?
Well, he gets into that. The official date of the extension was July 7th, 2007. And by the way, the salary cap at that point, $50.3 million. Wow. So it was 17.3%. His first year under the new deal was the next year, 2008-2009, $56 million limit, so a 15.3%. Now, Connor McDavid's was 16.7 when he signed, 15.7 when it took effect. Matthews, 14.6 and 14, presuming the cap is projected at $83 million for 2019-2020. Sorry, 2019-20.
So what are we all crying about? And
That's very relevant. That's very important information.
Yeah, I thought that's...
Yeah.
Kudos to him for putting that in.
No, people never point that out.
Well, yeah, like I don't 14% seems about right, man. Like I don't think again, there were people tweeting like the fucking sky was falling when Austin Matthews signed for 5 years, his most productive years in the city. And here's the other thing, that a couple of executives thing, which we should get back to.
Oh yeah,
is just total bullshit executive talk. By the way,
we've talked about it. What do executives do all day? What do agents and GMs do all day? When we talk about these contract negotiations that take like months and months, what do you do all day? Sit in a room and figure it out.
Talk to reporters.
Gossip. Okay. Listen, this might be taking a risk as a Leafs fan, but Marner, Kapanen, Janssen, I don't believe you. Executives in the NHL, compared to the other pro sports in North America, are A, the least smart, and, definitively, least smart.
You could say that.
You watch me. I'll say it again. They're the least smart. Least smart, and the softest. A league that fancies itself the rough and tumble, rugged man sport that it is. They're the softest. One guy offer sheeted someone, and there was almost a literal fist fight. And since then, teams have been scared to do it. They've been so scared. Adam, poor guy.
Sorry.
Okay, there's only one case of offer sheet revenge I can remember. And I don't remember the order it took place in. The Blues offer sheeted Kessler. The Canucks offer sheeted Bacchus. Both teams during that era were two of the strongest in the conference. The Canucks, I'm pretty sure after that happened, went to a Stanley Cup final and should have won. It didn't ruin them, this revenge thing. There's nothing scary about offer sheets. Why don't you do it? Tough guy?
Well,
Go ahead and do it.
The NBA does it all the time.
Of course they do, because they have balls. They give a shit. The NBA, executives in the NBA are so much more bold and brave than executives in the NHL. They're cowardly.
You should, if you want to have some fun, go back and listen to the interview when Brian Burke talks about Kevin Lowe trying to steal Dustin Penner.
Oh, it's so great. Dustin Penner, by the way. That's what this was over.
Yeah, it was over Dustin Penner.
We're talking about Mitch Marner. We're talking about one of the top 10 scorers in the league. This was over Dustin Penner.
And I believe, and I'm paraphrasing
with all due
here,
respect.
I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, I wouldn't throw grenades at someone else if I was sinking.
Oh.
As in, the Oilers sucked. Lowe was going to lose his job.
Oh my God, and that was a decade ago.
And that's what Berg said.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
teams are going to offer sheet metal, and the idea that they would get so strategic about it. Oh, and we'd take it into his UFA year. You guys have an email list that explains the rules because you don't even fucking know them. I'm not afraid of any of you. Get your shit together. Prove that you'll actually do it, and I'll listen for sure. This might age terribly. I have a feeling it won't. What do you expect the NHL? What do you expect executives in the NHL to do? Be bold and exciting? Pfft, get out of here with your offer sheet bullshit. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I don't care. I don't believe you. You stink.
How about this? Jim Matheson. If Oilers ever get to where they are buyers at the deadline, they have a raft of defense prospects. Caleb Jones, Ethan Bear, William Legason, Joel Person, Evan Bouchard, Philip Berglund, Dmitry Samorukov, and could dangle one of those 2 second-round picks for a rental.
So I'm going to go ahead and say it wasn't Chiarelli. I'm going to go ahead and say it wasn't just Chiarelli.
Jim is not their... He's not their GM. He's a reporter.
No.
But the thing is, they're 2 points out of last and 6 points out of the second wild card spot.
Buying for them is the most asinine, crazy thing. Is anyone talking about like the Blackhawks buying?
They are.
They
Actually,
are?
They are absolutely talking about the Blackhawks buying. They're on a hard charge.
The proof is in the pudding. I'm not afraid of a single executive in this league. You're madmen. You're crazy people.
The Chicago Blackhawks believe they can make the playoffs. They've been better of late. They're still 4 points out.
There are different pressures in Edmonton because of the renewal of season tickets and boxes in their new
fuck up the team more. You're right.
Fancy arena.
Yeah, so ruin this further.
And you have a group of, I guess, executives there who want to win.
Buddies.
And want to make the playoffs.
You have a group of buddies who happen to own the team and
they
work
seem
for
like
it.
they are not willing to go through a rebuild.
If they want to
The Oilers don't have employees. This is the issue. They don't have employees. They have friends of the owner. If people actually worked for the team, something might happen. But they don't hire anyone. Kevin Lowe doesn't work for that team. Keith Gretzky doesn't work for that team. No one actually works for that team.
Well, if they want to save money on the non-season ticket renewal, like if they lose season ticket renewal money, they could probably just cut 18 of their executives.
What's the problem with losing money? You don't employ anyone.
What about Hunter?
Well, he's brought up as...
Please. Oh, my God. Everything that comes out of...
Not Mark, their mascot.
I'm into that. Oh, is he an employee?
Is he not an employee of the team?
I would assume he is.
Could
Right.
Hunter...
There are some... I'm talking about the front office.
GM
Jesse.
favorites, by the way. Kelly McCrimmon, Mark Hunter, and John Ferguson Jr.
Literally like we came up with a bit on the show.
What has Kelly McCrimmon ever done in a GM role?
Kelly McCrimmon, he's with Vegas, right?
Is he?
I want to say
that's a
he
pretty
was
good look.
Vegas, and he was in junior for a long time.
He's had he's got an NHL resume.
Yeah.
He's the assistant in Vegas.
But 2 of those 3 are bangers.
Oh man, Mark Hunter and John
and you
Ferguson
have the
Jr.
permanent, interconnected Leafs angle, which is so great. But and then John Ferguson Jr. even more so. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Make that happen right away. Definitely have a guy who screwed up the Leafs cap situation so bad that the ramifications lasted over a decade. Definitely hire him to be the GM of a team that doesn't let their GM make decisions anyway. Definitely make this happen. Oh my God, that crazy team of crazy people.
Yeah, I think.
What is the matter with them?
I think Edmonton will be buying, and I believe Chicago will buy too.
What? Okay,
Chicago
Why
really
do you guys
believes
talk
they can
about
do
the
it.
Oilers so much? Because it's like watching a literal cartoon, and it's my favorite.
Do you actually get questions about that? I've never gotten one question asking why we talk about the Oilers so much.
I think people understand, and people like talking about the Oilers
Yeah.
because they're terrible and fascinating.
Nobody in
Sens
Vancouver's-
fans are like, no, we get it. It's a horror show
Nobody
every
in
week.
Vancouver's like, hey, talk about Pettersson some more because we don't like hearing about the Oilers like it.
They were the only ones who told me to stick to the Leafs when I was criticizing the Mike DiPietro stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I got one who said,
who's
"Hey,
shocked?
heads up on." I forget what it was, but I have
always gonna be
several,
some.
especially Franz, my boy Franz. There's a few Canucks fans that reach out to me after episodes when we mention them, and they're always really reasonable. You seem to have all the insanity ones that are like, I don't know what it is with the Canucks fans that follow you.
I'm Steve Dangle. I'm the loud, yelly Leafs fan. I can understand why fans of other Canadian teams would not like me. Oh, man. So I knew the Volkswagen commercial was coming on.
And yet they'll listen to your long-ass podcast and find the part where you talk about their team.
So
I'm not going to follow you, but I sure am going to listen the hell out of your show.
I knew when the commercial with Savard was coming on, and it was in the middle of the Oilers-Penguins game. And so I go, you know what? Okay, I'm going on national TV. I'm going with a blue and white jersey. And I'm going to be flailing around on the ice and, being me. I hope all the Oilers fans watching are at least in a good mood. And lo and behold, they were up 1-0.
Oh.
And I'm like, yes, great. And I know, okay, the next commercial break, it's coming up. Oilers get a power play. I'm like, this is looking great. Brian Russ scores a shorthanded goal for the Penguins. And Teddy Bluger puts the Penguins up 2-1.
Who the fuck is that?
It all happened. Teddy Bluger, Adam. You don't know Teddy Bluger?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
The great Latvian hope?
With response...
Teddy's Blugers?
Sorry, with respect to him and his family, I've never heard of Teddy Bluger.
Adam, get to know the name. Ask me.
Who's Teddy Bluger?
Teddy Bluger is his name. So anyway, he scored. So bang, 2 Penguins goals to put the Oilers down, heading right into the commercial break. And then my stupid face pops up on all these TVs.
So
I'm like, shit.
How was it?
It actually wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
But I've muted a lot of people, so who knows?
Also, Oilers. If you missed it this morning, Dreger reported that Cam Talbot might be going to the Philadelphia.
Yeah, they're talking
for nothing because it's just to free up cap space.
So they can be what at the deadline?
Buyers.
Oh my!
Because he makes $3 million.
Call that team every freaking day,
and they won't stop playing him, which is weird because
Koskinen gets the start tonight.
Yeah, it's like his second start in the last 10 games or something.
The shorthanded goal was not good.
Talbot makes 4.1.
Wow, that would save them some. That would open some space, but it's a little late in the season to be doing it. Okay, so let's move on to the Ottawa Senators. Now, Steve, you mentioned a little bit earlier the Senators. I by the way, I feel like I'm on NPR right now because I don't have the energy in my voice anymore. But now, Steven, tell me about your really boring topic. I with the Sens, Stone, Duchene, Dangle, and Ceci all could be gone in the next week and a half.
Bleak, saving yourself from yourself.
But I'm wondering, you said the NHL's boring, which it can be. Nobody leaves, nobody does anything, which is somewhat true a lot of the time. However, people are starting to point to the John Tavares situation as like an awakening with the players. Like, you don't really have to stay where you are. And you don't really have to do what everybody's always done.
Well, and they're watching the... someone tweeted this, and it was the Squidward meme where he's looking out the window all sad, and Patrick and SpongeBob are outside all happy, and it's like NHL Twitter watching NBA Twitter.
Oh my God, it's true.
And I think it's NHL players looking at the NBA. And they're like, God, that looks fun. Oh my God, literally telling my GM where to trade me?
Yeah.
That sounds great. Wait, what do you mean I can just go where I want? They're trying it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that they just figured it out now, Ottawa, but it could be a thing.
I feel like, first off, they're saying that of Duchene and Stone, and I think we may have mentioned this in the last episode, there's been almost no talking with Stone.
Really?
There hasn't been much.
Yeah.
And Duchene got a full offer. I think Stone hasn't. From what I understand, and this could be incorrect as of this recording, so forgive me. My understanding of the Stone situation is that he was not actually given a full offer. They're just trying to figure out money first. They don't want to make him a full offer until they figure out what kind of money he wants. And I don't know why you
figure out what kind. What do they do all day?
I know. So here's the fun thing. All right. So to me, if Duchene wanted to stay to sign the contract, it would have been done. The offer's been made. So
No, but these things take 4 months, apparently.
I don't think they do. And the thing was, yesterday was supposed to be the day we knew for sure. That was supposed to be the drop-dead deadline.
Yeah.
The Senators have now extended it to this weekend.
They came and went, and there was nothing.
They're now...
Because it's all imaginary.
Yeah, but they set the deadline. They're like, you have to tell us by Wednesday. Okay, no, you can't tell us today. Well, let's go with Saturday.
You can't tell us by Saturday? Why not next week?
Can you imagine a world where Duchene, Stone, and Dangle, all UFAs, are not traded, do not re-sign?
No. The Sens, no. You'd be better off. Like, this would be a bad scenario, and we would come on the next show and rip them. But imagine that were to happen, and it's literally 5 minutes before the deadline, and you can't work anything out. You'd be better off going to some team and being like, what do you give us? And they go, a second and a fourth, LOL. And taking the second and the fourth. At least you get something.
Like if I'm
Then
Pierre Dorian,
holding your breath and stamping your feet.
if I'm Pierre Dorian, I have a deal already ready for all those guys. Just to call the team and go, okay, they're not re-signing. Here you go.
Like there was also a lesson in management on the Tavares side.
Yep.
Oh, we can't actually just let him go to free agency. Also, that's especially true if you're not making the playoffs. And it's a little bit under talked about how Karlsson doesn't have a deal for next year. He's on the Sharks. Like, at least they're good. Like, at least they're contenders.
I also, and I hate to say it this way, I think that if Garth Snow was still the GM in New York, I think we'd have had a much harder time signing Tavares. He was a Garth Snow fan. Garth Snow drafted him.
No.
Yeah. And if you look at who he thanked as he left, Garth Snow was one of them.
Well, he's gotta. He's the guy who drafted him.
Conspiracy theory. Tinfoil hat. Islander fans would hate that.
Whoa there, NHL executive.
I know. Noted NHL executive me. But, okay, the Sens then trade. Let's say they trade before the deadline. Duchene, Stone, Dzingel, Ceci. That looks pretty sweet. And to me, like, the return on that is pretty damn good. And to me, it's worth it.
Let's say you get the Pacioretty return times 2. Which, for those guys, I don't think is unreasonable.
Times 2.
Yeah, you get 2 roster players, 2 first-round picks, and 2 blue-chip prospects. That's a pretty good way to start a rebuild.
To me,
that's okay.
It has always made the most sense for them to trade those guys. I've said it from the beginning. Why would you re-sign these guys? It doesn't make sense.
But the issue is may literally be making the floor, which we say sometimes, but it actually applies.
Yeah,
they
but
might
then
not
you
be
can
a floor
use that floor as to your advantage and go to a team like Toronto and be like, hey, give us a prospect and we'll take Nikita Zaitsev off your hands.
If they're smart enough to do it that way.
Stone should also still be good when the Ottawa Senators are good.
Yes.
He's only 26.
Yes.
If you sign him now long term, he should still be a leader and good when the Senators want to rebuild and be good again.
But if you're Stone, do you want to deal with that shit?
Well, if they offer you a lot of money, maybe you settle and you be happy with your money.
Maybe. I think you should always be happy with your money.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of it.
Especially if it's $9 million.
If you have a lot of it and you're not happy, well, something else is wrong. What's going on? You have a lot of money. Why are you so
Maybe you should
unhappy?
do a commercial for Volkswagen.
Maybe
true.
I should. Jellystone once said, money can't buy you happiness. He did.
He's a noted Toronto rapper from Rexdale.
Also a national park.
Also that.
Him personally. You go to him and you camp.
An actual mountain knows how to rap.
That's right.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
So
My
favorite part about the Sens, by the way, is the fact that Stone and Duchene were both asked how things are going, and they're like, yeah, we're just focusing on hockey with the Sens. No, you're not. I know you can't say anything else, but you're not. What are you focusing on finishing last? Okay. All right. I love that sort of focus. That's the focus I want.
Okay. So every year at the end of season press conferences, teams have to deal with people who don't cover the team every day. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing at stake for them.
It's like the person that went to the Leafs outdoor practice and asked Matthews if he grew up playing hockey outside.
So that's different. That's different. That's just pure ignorance.
That was very funny.
Oh, who was that? I didn't even hear that one.
I don't know the name of the reporter, but I know the outlet, and with respect to any outlet, it doesn't.
There was a bad one that was like, were you offer sheeted or something? And it's like, what? You don't understand. I didn't
know when he signed his extension. Did you get any other offers?
Yeah,
so
right.
Matthews signs his extension in Toronto, and a reporter actually shows up and go, "Well, did you have offers from other teams?"
So that's just a bumbled question. It's not very good, but sometimes, do you remember?
Hold on. I'm going to just interrupt you, and there's a reason. Renaud Lavoie from TVA. Still waiting for more on Duchene and Stone. My understanding is talks are still ongoing with Duchene, and the Senators and the Senators will have more discussions next week with Mark Stone.
What do you do all day?
So they're still talking. When's the trade deadline again? Isn't it next fucking week? No.
The 25th.
It's awful soon.
So they're looking at either get them wrapped up, or you're trading them 23rd, 24th, 25th, which is Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
You have less than 2 weeks. What are you doing? What do you do all day?
Also, do you want somebody that's taking this long to commit to you? Do you really want them on your team?
Oh, you're Ottawa, yes.
Man, I don't know.
Man, what was I even saying before you said the Renaud Lavoie thing?
Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, shit.
I don't remember.
Do you know? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, do you remember years ago when the Leafs were bad and Phaneuf was captain? This reporter comes in at the end of the year, and oh god, I can't remember the exact question, but he sort of got in Phaneuf's face, and Phaneuf barked back at him. But it was easy for this guy. But I think some reporters were upset because he sort of ruined the room. But there's no consequence to this guy because he doesn't have to see them every day, right? He doesn't have to do that little dance. If there's someone who doesn't have to do that little dance, or someone who does have to do it and they're just brave enough, literally ask
anything.
One of the GMs in the league, it doesn't even have to be Dorian, what do you do all day?
Yeah.
Or even respectably, you don't have to do it that way. You could just be like, what is a day? I haven't really seen a piece that's just what is a day in the life of a general manager.
Well, I'm sure
what do you do? How much of it has nothing to do with hockey? I bet it's a lot more than people think.
Yeah.
How much of it is the price of hot dogs? I don't know.
There's a lot of that.
I assume a lot of that falls to the president and the general manager's hockey operations.
Well, Jesse, this all goes back to what do they do all day? What do they do? I don't actually know what they do. Isn't this it?
Sure.
Talk to each other? Figure out a deal?
I don't know.
What do they do?
You were in a commercial with Kyle Dobus. Why didn't you ask him?
I should have.
Hey, what do you do?
Oh, Adam! Oh, that joke made me Kyle.
I get it.
That's not as good as what do you do this all day. That's very good. Adam, darling, you sound like you're about to die.
I am. Can I just ask one more question before we go?
You go right ahead.
Can I ask you a couple press conference questions?
No, we got two topics and then a press conference. Okay.
Cool.
I want to get through this show because people deserve it.
Okay, great.
I'm not doing one until next week, so I'm trying.
This is Adam's flu game.
Yeah, this sucks. Florida. Huberdeau.
Where the F did this come from?
I know, right? And so here's a guy that's making, $5 million who should be making closer to 7, 8?
He's only making 5?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They're gonna trade him!
Dale Talon is a fucking maniac if this is the case, right?
What?
He's nuts,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Am I crazy or am I crazy?
Doug Sifu was nice enough to join the show.
Huberdeau, 5.9, he's 25 and he's signed until 2023.
Maron. So, Doug Sifu was nice enough to join the show. On and off the ice. Yes, Adam, that is what the Panthers are.
Don't worry, I shut the mic off.
No, what on earth does that team think it is?
I don't know.
What do they think it is? No one's in the stands. No one. It's mortifying to watch. No one's in the stands. And what do I always freaking say? No matter how much talent you have in your team, if you don't know what you are, if no one can tell what you are, things are going to go bad. For the longest time, I was like, what are the Canucks? And then the answer was the worst team in the league over a 3-year span. That was the answer. There's so many teams where they can't decide what they are. What on God's green earth are the Florida Panthers?
They're a team with 25-year-old Huberdeau and 23-year-old Barkov signed to $5.9 million deals. And
Barkov signed at 5.9?
With Mike Hoffman signed for this year and next at 5.1. They got Vinny Trocheck under contract at 4.75. He's 25 years old. Dadonov, 29. They just signed him, $4 million. And they've also got Aaron Ekblad signed till the end of time, literally the end of time, till 2024-25, $7.5 million. Keith Yandel, who's having a career year, but his contract's going to hurt later on. He's 32, $6.3. Michael Matheson just signed an extension, $4.8. And Mark Pysyk, who they somehow hate, at $2.7 million this year and next.
Man,
I don't get it.
Most of those forwards you mentioned are really good deals. Why does this team suck?
I don't know. I don't get it. Like, you look at, picking up guys like Troy Brouwer isn't going to really help you. He's not a great player anymore. Brassard is obviously a rental that they're gonna move on from. Riley Sheehan is another guy they're gonna move on from. But they got Vetrano and Borgstrom and Malkin.
This freaking team, I don't understand why they stink so bad.
It seems like they've got the players already. What I would do if I were them is the very clear need is goaltending here, right?
Yeah,
so go give Bobrovsky the sun and the moon.
So what if...
do it. Why not? You haven't overpaid for anybody else.
What if you're all excited and you are trying to actually do the Bobrovsky-Panarin thing, and part of it involves Huberdeau? That's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Columbus will ask for Barkov, and Florida will hang up the phone, and then you go to the next guy. Huberdeau could make some sense if it's what it takes to sign Panarin. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't... Why would you trade that player?
What if, and hear me out, you fucking wait till July 1st, you maniac, so you can have Huberdeau, Panarin, and Bobrovsky.
What if the Panthers literally can't afford it because no one goes to the games? No one goes. No one goes.
I'm sure they're still turning a profit.
I don't think they care.
Also, yeah, I don't think that matters.
Those guys have so much money, I don't think it matters.
You want a pro sports team? You want to throw some money at something, I think you can find a way.
Also, they've got $30 million, I think, in cap space going into next year. Yeah, their projected cap hit right now.
Well, now I'm with you. So what do they do? What are they doing?
$20 million. They've got $20 million. So all they
do you understand why I'm not afraid of any GM in this league?
Go get...
They're nuts.
You could plausibly pay Bobrovsky 10 and Panarin 10. You'd still have $1 million in cap space. You could probably, dump Mark Pysyk if you wanted a couple extra million. I don't know why you would, though. He seems like a valuable guy. And then you've got Trocheck, Dadonov, who they're trying to move, Hoffman, Barkov, and Huberdeau, and then Panarin and Bobrovsky, along with Yandel, Ekblad, Matheson, and potentially Pysyk. That's not a bad team.
Adam, let's expand our business.
What's our business?
I want to be executive producer. And you can be co-executive producer.
Of what?
And Jesse can be president.
Yay!
It's a show.
Somebody's got to say no.
It's a show. It's low budget.
Okay.
Doesn't cost a whole lot. Just need a few cameras and a board game of Monopoly. And the show is literally just watch NHL GMs play Monopoly. And the great thing is it's just like the Stanley Cup playoffs. Someone has to win. But I want to see...
Who lucks into it?
Yes! Who backs into winning Monopoly? They're crazy! They're nuts!
Well, we were listening to a clip today from Leafs Lunch on 1050, and they were talking about Jesse, and you weren't there, you weren't here yet, but it's just Steve and I, it made my head shake, and then Steve was like, oh, I missed that, let me play this again. So It's Jonas Siegel, Andy Petrillo, Darren Dreger, and Pierre LeBrun's on the phone.
Okay.
So they're smart people. Mm-hmm. And Pierre LeBrun goes on and says, I don't think Radko Gudas makes a lot of sense for Toronto. $3.35 million for a guy that might be a 6'7" defenseman, which...
Sure.
A few of those things perplex me. That's
a take.
It's a take.
It's not a 6'7" on the Leafs. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a 6'7" on the Flyers.
On the Leafs, he may be their top right-handed D. Top right shot guy.
Literally, yes.
It's a take, but Pierre has to say things, so I'll be like, all right, so it's a bad take, but
so then he
go
says,
ahead.
You know who it does make sense for?
What?
Tampa Bay.
Now, so this guy's a 6'7" on the Leafs.
Oh.
But I tell you who he's not 6-7 on. First place team in the league.
With
The team
arguably-
with the best defense in the Eastern Conference.
who don't have any room under the cap. Like, I don't get it. But, you know, I
Eric
think he's
Engels
saying
is
it 'cause he knows
speculating
something.
they get Simmons.
Who? Tampa?
Engels says
Oh, Engels? Yeah, that
Tampa
makes
might get
sense.
Simmons.
It annoys me so much that they're able to get anybody.
Like, and the thing is that, like, I don't doubt Pierre on him.
I'm
sure
gonna
that
literally-
Tampa's in on him.
I'm going to tear the hair out of my scalp
I bet
when they sign Braden
they
Point
get them both.
to $5 million.
I bet
I
they
don't
get
think so.
They get Gudis and Simmons. Why not?
No.
The Leafs?
The Lightning. Why not?
the Lightning.
Why the fuck not?
Why not?
They're the fucking Lightning.
Also,
cares?
Muzzin somehow.
Yeah. We get 'em.
You know what?
Yep.
Nylander
From
too.
the Kings.
I made this trade. I made this trade.
I made this.
It's no. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I keep going back to this, and yeah, I mean LeBron is brilliant, right? But no one.
Yeah, no. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not doubting him, but how does that make sense?
The Leafs don't talk to anyone. I think so much of the confusion around the trade deadline comes from the Leafs don't talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. They don't tell anyone anything. So, two executives. Now, this is going back to Freach. Two executives have a conspiracy theory. So, okay, synonyms. I'm big into synonyms. Wordplay. Two executives made up a scenario
Where Matthews gets walked into free agency.
They're guessing. They're guessing because the Leafs don't talk to
And
anybody.
why would Matthews even sign it?
Well, because everything works out in my dreams as well. Like, you know what I mean?
I know.
Also, Steve Yzerman, smart GM.
He's not a
Yeah,
GM
but
anymore.
it's Julian Breezewell now. Yeah,
Still
I
a
don't-
smart GM.
I bet
he
he's still,
built this team.
I bet he's still calling Yzerman every once in a while.
He's-
Be like, hey, Stevie, I know you're retired and all, but
He's one of the guys where I'm like, I'm not afraid of any GM in the league.
Quick
And then I
one.
think about him and I'm like, I'm afraid of some.
I'm adding this in quickly on the Ducks. Shout out to Kevin Boyle, got his 1-0 shutout again, in his first game with Bob Murray behind the bench. Interestingly, Bob Murray said that he's not really there to run the lines. He just wants to get the understanding of why the culture is so bad. And I think Bob Murray's going to understand that his team's just not very good. Period. Like,
Maybe.
it just can't score. But interestingly, San Diego has a great young core of guys: Max Jones, Sam Steele, Troy Terry. I wonder if next year the Ducks aren't right back in it.
I think they are. I think they'll be A-okay, and we're all talking about how Dallas Eakins is a genius
If they could
and
somehow
why he
find
never
a
got a
way-
fair shake in Edmonton.
Can you find a way to ship off one of one of Perry or Kessler to a team that needs to floor with a pick?
Here's
Like
the thing.
Ottawa.
Without even looking, I bet those guys have no moves.
Yeah.
I bet they do.
They probably do. Yeah, you're right. Last thing, Malkin and Raffle. You wanted to say something. We talked about it last episode, but of course Malkin swung his stick. Raffle
forgot
dove.
about
What
this.
happened? Tell me. Talk to
Okay,
me.
so
What do you
Evgeny
wanna say?
Malkin swung his stick at Michael Raffle in a way that's completely unacceptable. Dangerous play. Suspended for 1 game. That is arguably a joke in and of itself, because if he connects with Raffle, so if Malkin's stick takes the same path, there's two, we're talking alternate realities here, and there's one where he swings and misses, and there's another where he makes the exact same movement and Raffle's a few inches this way, and Malkin hits him in the teeth, takes out his entire mouth of teeth, or something like that. You think Malkin only gets 1 game?
No.
Now, ifs and buts, candy and nuts, all that.
Raffle would be rolling on the floor.
He would be rolling on the floor. Well, Jesse, it's funny you said
Like
that.
Raffle.
It's funny you said that because Malkin didn't connect with his face, and he was rolling on the floor anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and say I never saw this, so maybe I missed it. Raffle should have been fined.
Oh.
He should have been fined. If anyone wants to know the difference between embellishment and diving, here it is. Evgeny Malkin, who gets the red miss sometimes, shouldn't have done that, should have been punished, probably should have been punished more.
And was.
All right? Now that we're done with that, Michael Raffle ought to be ashamed of himself. The embellishment is when you get, like, hooked and you help it along a little bit. A lot of players, there will be contact, and somehow the contact that has nothing to do with their feet greatly affects their feet, and they fall to the ground. That, to me, is embellishment. The shoulder shrug. Nas is the king of that. Loves a little shoulder
loves.
shrug when he gets a hook or a trip or something like that, that's embellishment. Brad Marchand, a little bit of embellishment. Falling on the ground and clutching your face because of something that didn't even make contact with you is embarrassing.
Did Malkin miss?
He missed entirely.
He didn't hit him.
Jesse, you saw how he swung that stick. If he connected with him, there'd be blood.
I thought he at least tapped him on like the side of the helmet.
I don't think so at all.
I think I don't know.
No way. No way. Let's watch this again. Here we go. Okay, now Raffle with the cross-check and the punch in the head. You know, I'm not going to rip him too much. That happens 1,000 times a game. Malkin could have freaking decapitated this guy.
I think did he graze him there?
I don't think so.
Anyways, yeah, it looks like he just swings and misses.
Okay, so if he does make contact... Okay, this is with the asterisk of if he made contact, obviously negate everything I said. Because what I say...
No, here, if you look at it, he goes right through. There's no contact.
Wouldn't there have been a sound? If it hit the... Look at how hard he swung. If he hits the helmet, there would have been a sound.
And the stick just keeps going. Like, there's nothing, no change of direction.
He doesn't hit him.
Anything. Yeah.
At worst, it glances his friggin' Kevlar shoulder pad.
Yeah. There's nothing there.
He should have been fined for embellishment.
Yep.
Now, that would be an interesting one. Because I can't think of a scenario where there's ever been a suspension and a punishment for diving as well. Sometimes there's a penalty for hooking or whatever, tripping, and also a penalty for embellishment. I've never seen a suspension fine. He should have been fined. Now, if Malkin makes contact, okay, fine. But it doesn't look like he does, and if he does not, Michael Raffle should have been fined for diving. But you don't do that because you want to send a message with the suspension, I guess. Yeah, oh, he gets punched. Red mist sets in immediately. I don't think he catches him at all.
No.
Yeah, Jesse just showed it again. I don't think he
doesn't.
There's a swing right there.
Oh! And he dives, and
it just goes right. See, here's this
writhing and now here. Forget
nothing comes through.
I don't think anything comes through. Now, watch the reaction though. Here, leave it running. Oh! Oh my God! Oh, and he goes down. Oh! Ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's embarrassing. Goes, oh!
It's not. He gets up like 2 seconds later. It's not as dramatic as you're making it out.
Jesse, he goes in the fetal position from something that didn't happen.
I don't know. He's fallen down there.
Yes.
When the stick is being swung at his head.
Yeah.
He's falling down.
Yeah.
And then as he goes and he falls down, he grabs his head, being like, hey, you almost hit me there. Maybe he was doing one of those.
You almost hit me there.
But he was like, you almost got me there, Malky.
You almost hit me there.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny how hockey has changed. There's less of that, thank goodness, than there used to be. But Jason York was saying, Jeff Merrick goes, Jason York, and this is a forgotten about factor of all this. Sometimes we just talk about the incident itself.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes forget that there's a hockey game that goes on after that play.
Yeah.
Merrick goes, Jason York, what would the rest of the game have been like after that? And he's like, Raffle would have had to fight 3 times. And Malkin probably too, except he got kicked out.
Yeah.
No, but like there wouldn't have been a hockey game after that. There would have just been carnage.
Yep.
And the score would have been whatever it was, but there would have been a line brawl. Would have been ridiculous. Anyway, no, if that didn't make contact, and I don't think it did, he should be ashamed of himself and fined.
Let's do a quick press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
You ready, Jesse?
This is from front_foot_LOL. Hey, Adam.
Yo.
What's cheesier? A hot, fresh Panago pizza? Or one of your segues to Panago pizza ads?
Well, I look at my segues as the extra bit of mozzarella cheese that you can order with every Panago pizza at Panago.com.
The answer is the segues. The answer...
I don't know. Panago pizzas are pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
And especially if you get a little extra cheese, which I would encourage you to do. If you're going to go for it, go for it.
Go extra cheese. But what drives me nuts about a pizza place, there's a few things that ruin a pizza. hard crust, like way too hard. There's some places that like they almost forget sauce. They just do like like nothing of sauce.
You need some damn sauce, right?
I think the thing I love most about Panago Pizza is they put things on their pizza. You know, a lot of pizza places don't even do that. They don't skimp on the cheese. There's a decent amount of cheese. Not too much. The right amount of cheese on a Panago Pizza. See how I did that? What's next?
The last press conference thread was ruined because every comment had to do with you eating the pepper, and then you finally did it.
And then I finally did it. Oh, so there's nothing.
But the new one, it's all right. But I think Adam's too sick for this. Also,
just do it.
Also, that's the end of the show.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, I'm sorry I wasn't 100% today, guys, but...
you should be.
Yeah.
You ought to be fined. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I got to stop diving the way I am. I'm taking a dive on this show like Michael Roffel. This show is Evgeny Malkin stick, and I'm Michael Roffel.
This show is ruining your life.
That's true, but I love it.
Can I advise you to never poop on your friend while doing a Harlem Shake challenge?
Well, that's only if I want to get into kid YouTube videos later on, which I think, the amount of swearing on this podcast has maybe prevented me. No, maybe not. Maybe not. People swear. Life happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I wanted to start a kid's YouTube channel, that wouldn't be the end of the world.
I'd love to do a kid show.
I think it'd be fun.
I want to be the new Steve from Blue's Clues. Steve returns. I have the shirt.
It'd be Iggy and Steve this time.
Iggy's Clues.
Why haven't you done that?
Why hasn't that been a video?
And your name is Steve, and you know the show.
Steve.
Rachel would lose her mind.
You have wasted the first 30 years of your life.
Dude, you need to get a green screen and some
Stop talking.
knowledge.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.